This is a beautiful love story between Ethan and Gabriel. If you've never believed in a Christmas miracle before, this story will make you believe that indeed Christmas miracle exists. Here is the story. The biting chill of a December evening filled the air as snowflakes danced lazily in the wind. The Rockefeller Center Christmas tree sparkled like a beacon of joy, its towering branches adorned with countless lights and ornaments. Crowds of people gathered around, their faces lit up with wonder, laughter, and the faint glow of hot cocoa stands. Ethan Walsh leaned against the metal railing, tugging his scarf tighter around his neck. He had lived in New York City for years, but the Rockefeller tree never lost its magic. Yet tonight, even amidst the festive ambiance, he felt strangely disconnected. Christmas had always been a bittersweet time for him, filled with memories of his late mother's love for the season, but also a reminder of his solitude. "Excuse me, but I think you just stole my spot," a deep, playful voice said from beside him. Ethan turned, startled. Standing there was a man with chiseled features, warm brown eyes, and a mischievous smile that could melt the frostiest winter night. He was bundled in a navy peacoat and a knit beanie, his cheeks tinged pink from the cold. "Your spot?" Ethan asked, raising an eyebrow. "Yes," the stranger replied, smirking. "The perfect angle for the tree. You're blocking it." Ethan chuckled. "Well, I didn't see your name on it." "I'm Gabriel," the man said, extending a gloved hand. He shook Gabriel's hand, feeling a surprising warmth despite the chill. They spent the next few minutes exchanging light banter. Gabriel was visiting New York for the holidays, staying with family in Brooklyn. Ethan, a marketing professional and reluctant workaholic, admitted he hadn't made plans for Christmas yet. "I always find myself here this time of year," Ethan confessed, his gaze drifting back to the tree. "It feels like the city's heart, you know." Gabriel studied him for a moment. "Maybe this year, the city's heart has something in store for you." Ethan laughed, brushing it off, but as they parted ways that night, he couldn't shake the feeling that something had shifted. The following evening, Ethan found himself walking through Dyker Heights, a neighborhood renowned for its extravagant Christmas lights. He had planned to explore it alone, but Gabriel had texted him earlier, "If you're up for some holiday cheer, I'll be in Dyker Heights tonight." Ethan had hesitated. He didn't usually meet up with strangers, but Gabriel's infectious charm had lingered in his thoughts all day. When they met, Gabriel greeted him with a warm smile and 2 cups of steaming hot chocolate. "I wasn't sure you'd come," Gabriel said. "Neither was I," Ethan replied, taking a sip of the cocoa. They wandered through the streets, marveling at the dazzling displays. Houses were adorned with thousands of twinkling lights, giant inflatable snowmen, and even animatronic reindeer. It felt like stepping into a holiday dream. "Do you ever wonder what drives people to go all out like this?" Ethan mused. "Maybe it's their way of spreading joy," Gabriel said. "Or maybe they're trying to hold on to something magical." Ethan glanced at him. "You're surprisingly deep for someone who argues about tree viewing spots." Gabriel laughed, the sound rich and genuine. They walked in comfortable silence for a while until Gabriel stopped in front of a particularly stunning display, a house with cascading white lights that looked like a frozen waterfall. "You know," Gabriel began, "Christmas is my favorite time of year. It's when miracles happen." "Do you really believe that?" Ethan asked skeptically. "I do," Gabriel said. "Maybe because I've seen it. My family went through a lot when I was younger. But every Christmas, something good always seemed to happen. It's like the universe's way of reminding us that hope is real." Ethan didn't respond right away. For the first time in years, he wondered if he'd lost his own belief in miracles. 2 days later, a sudden snowstorm swept through the city. Streets were blanketed in white, and the usual chaos of New York quieted under the weight of the storm. Ethan was stuck at home, working remotely, when his phone buzzed. It was Gabriel. "How's your snow day going? Hope you're not buried in emails." Ethan smiled. "Buried is an understatement. What about you?" "I was planning to see the city covered in snow, but I can't convince anyone to brave the cold with me." Ethan hesitated for only a moment before replying, "I'm in." They met near Washington Square Park, the arch looking majestic against the snow-laden trees. The city felt like a snow globe come to life. "This is incredible," Ethan said, his breath visible in the frosty air. Gabriel grinned. "Told you it was worth it." They spent hours wandering through the city, their laughter echoing in the quiet streets. When they reached Central Park, they found a frozen pond surrounded by a winter wonderland. Gabriel impulsively took Ethan's hand and led him onto the ice, their boots sliding clumsily. "Are you trying to kill us?" Ethan laughed. Maybe, Gabriel teased, his grip tightening on Ethan's hand. Or maybe I'm just trying to make this Christmas unforgettable. Ethan's laughter faded as their eyes met. For the first time, he allowed himself to acknowledge the pull he felt toward Gabriel. By Christmas Eve, Ethan and Gabriel had spent nearly every day together. They'd shared stories, laughter, and even their fears. Ethan found himself opening up in ways he hadn't in years. That evening, they stood once again by the Rockefeller tree. The crowds were thicker, the energy electric with holiday excitement. I never asked, Ethan said. Why did you come to New York this Christmas? Gabriel hesitated, his expression softening. I needed a fresh start. This year's been hard. I lost someone I cared about, and I felt stuck. But being here, meeting you, it's reminded me that life can still be beautiful. Ethan's chest tightened. I feel the same way. I didn't realize how much I needed you. Gabriel smiled, and for a moment, the world around them seemed to fade. Ethan, Gabriel said softly, I think you're my Christmas miracle. Before Ethan could respond, Gabriel leaned in, their lips meeting in a tender, heart-stopping kiss. The world around them erupted in cheers as the tree's lights sparkled brighter than ever. On Christmas morning, Ethan woke to a text from Gabriel. Meet me at the skating rink. When he arrived, the rink was nearly empty, the early morning sun casting a golden glow on the ice. Gabriel was waiting, holding 2 pairs of skates. I figured we'd end the holiday where it all began, Gabriel said with a grin. They laced up their skates and took to the ice, wobbling and laughing like kids. As they glided under the towering Rockefeller tree, Ethan realized how much his world had changed in just a few days. Thank you, he said suddenly. Gabriel looked at him, puzzled. For what? For reminding me that miracles are real, Ethan said, his voice thick with emotion. Gabriel smiled, pulling him close. You did that for me too. As they skated hand in hand, the snow began to fall again, blanketing the city in quiet beauty. For the first time in years, Ethan felt whole, like the universe had finally given him the miracle he didn't even know he needed. And under the glow of the Rockefeller tree, 2 hearts found their way home,